Welcome! Today, we will look at the different effects similes and metaphors have on the reader. Let's read Nancy Prasad's poem, You Have Two Voices. You have two voices when you speak, in English or your mother tongue. When you speak the way your people spoke, the words don't hesitate but flow like rivers, like rapids, like oceans of sound. And your hands move like birds through the air. But then you take a stranger's voice when you speak in your new tongue. Each word is a stone dropped in a pool. I watch the ripples and wait for more. You search in vain for other stones to throw. They are heavy. Your hands hang down. You have two voices when you speak. I have two ears for hearing. Speak to me again in your mother tongue. What does it matter how little I understand when the words pour out like music and your face glows like a flame? In summary, the speaker is talking to someone, let's call that someone A, who speaks in two languages, English and his mother tongue. The speaker uses similes and metaphors to describe how A speaks the two languages with vastly different degrees of fluency and ease. Because A becomes animated when he speaks in his mother tongue, the speaker prefers A using it. Can you spot a pattern in the way similes and metaphors have been employed? Let's examine the poem. Can you pick out the expressions used in stanza 1 to describe A's use of his mother tongue? Did you pick these? You're right! So, are these similes or metaphors? Yes, similes are used to describe A speaking in his mother tongue. His words flow like rivers, like rapids, like oceans of sound. The use of flow reinforces the sense of fluid movement created from comparing A's words to water bodies. We get the impression that A's words are pouring out smoothly and quickly, uninterrupted. In this stanza's last simile, like birds through the air, A's hands are compared to flying birds. This simile focuses on A's hands, not his words, and differs from the preceding ones. It's also an image of flight, not water. However, the same sense of movement and freedom is evident. Tellingly, stanza 2 begins with but, signaling things will be different from stanza 1. A has a stranger's voice when he uses English and sounds nothing like himself. Can you pick out the expressions that describe A's use of English, a language foreign to him? Did you pick these? Correct! So, are these similes or metaphors? Here, metaphors are used to compare and liken A's English words to heavy stones that are difficult to produce. He knows very few English words, and they have a limited impact. It is as if they are stones dropped into pools, causing only short-lived ripples. Clearly, A cannot communicate fluently in English. To summarize, in stanza 1, similes are employed to describe A's use of his mother tongue. But in stanza 2, metaphors are used to depict A's use of English. Why do you think this was done? Now, remember that similes and metaphors both compare two unlike things. But while similes use words like or as to make the likeness clear, metaphors directly equate one thing with another. This can make metaphors sound more emphatic and more concrete than similes. So, again, why similes in stanza 1 and metaphors in stanza 2? In stanza 1, A's effortless use of his mother tongue is conveyed through images of flowing water and flying birds. In contrast, in stanza 2, metaphors depict A's poor English proficiency. This makes A's use of English seem even more effortful and heavy-going, and the English words even more like burdens. Now that you've learned about the effects of similes and metaphors, what comparisons do you notice in stanza 3? Are they similes or metaphors? If you said similes, you're correct. They are, the words pour out like music, and your face glows like a flame. Here, the speaker compares A's speech in his mother tongue to music and describes his face all lit up like a flame. Even though she can't understand all that A says in his mother tongue, she enjoys listening to him and basks in the warmth of his pleasure and ease. Now, consider why similes are used in stanza 3. Well, stanza 3 focuses on A's use of his mother tongue. This links back to stanza 1, with its focus on the mother tongue and similes. Maybe it is to convey the same fluid movement in stanza 1 through similar words like pour out. Perhaps it is to give an impression of beauty, vitality, and life, to contrast with the inactivity conveyed in stanza 2. Can you think of other possible reasons within this poem's context? Today, we learned about the effects of similes and metaphors on the reader. Just remember, there are many kinds of figurative language, and similes and metaphors are just two of them. Have fun learning about the others.